In our ongoing series of building the AR-15, we're now going to take a look at the buttstock. And there's lots of different options available, lots of different parts that are related to the stocks. And in this series we're going to go through and take a look at some of those. So we'll put the camera on a tripod and we'll take a closer look at stock options for the AR-15. In the receiver extensions we have the longer rifle, then we have the mil-spec and the commercial carbine lengths. In addition, we have 2, 4, and 6 position carbine lengths. The way that the AR-15 works is the bolt carrier is going to need to slide into this receiver extension. A spring returns the bolt carrier forward, and a buffer stands between the two to offer weight balance and a place to push against the bolt carrier. There are lots of different buffer tubes available. You can see these longer ones are rifle tubes. These black ones are 9mm. This little one is actually a mini 308. Then we've got some various sizes here. The H, or the standard buffer, the H and the H2. There's also an H3, and that's just heavier and heavier. These can be used to troubleshoot the carbines, or depending on the type of caliber that you're using, to help work with its recoil. Some of the subtle differences between them: on this style there's no flats, it's a rounded area, where on this one there's 3 flats, and that just makes it a little easier to pull the buffer past that detent. The spring just goes in and then you push the buffer in until it passes that little detent there, and you can see where the detent stops it from falling through. The H2 is a little heavier than the H, which is a little heavier than the standard. Now for reference, we'll just do some quick comparisons. This is a standard buffer, and it comes in at 2.8 ounces. H buffer is 3.6 ounces, and this H2 buffer is 4 ounces. If we compare that to this 9mm Colt buffer for a 9mm AR, that's at 5.2 ounces. And then here's a little short 308 buffer, and that's at 3.2 ounces. Since we have it here, let's compare it with a rifle buffer, which is 5 ounces. So with the carbine versions of the AR, adjusting the buffer can be one way to troubleshoot. However, it's not the best way to troubleshoot a problem with cycling. Of course, there's a difference between the springs. A rifle spring is a little bit longer than the carbine sling, and these all have to do with distance or length. You can see that since a carbine stock is shorter, the carbine receiver extension is shorter as well, and because of that, the longer spring would not have enough space to compress, so they use a shorter spring. Same with the buffer. A rifle buffer with a rifle spring, while it'll fit into a carbine, there's not enough room for it to go in and move back and still allow room for that bolt carrier. So in order to save some room in there, they go with the shorter spring and the shorter buffer. So now when it compresses, there's still plenty of room for that bolt carrier to move back. So hopefully you found this review interesting, entertaining, and hopefully worthwhile to save you some money on a future build. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions or concerns and what you may want to see in future videos. As always, thanks for watching. We'd like to thank again our friends at Tucson Guns who encourage us to make these buyer's guides and give us some of the resources to do so. They definitely know their stuff about AR-15s, so if you're building an AR-15 or if you need parts, give them a call. Thanks again for watching.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.